Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what to do, everybody? It's your boy, John Altidor, Pro Fan Sports Podcast, back at you with another one with my boys, Vlad and Barry. And today we got a special and unique guest. It's Mr. Pat's Cap, a.k.a. Miguel Benzan. Welcome to the show, man. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, everyone. All the religions. I believe in love for everyone, all right?
Exactly, man. How's everything with you?
Oh, it's been, as we talked before the show, great holiday. Nice to have a 4-day weekend. Wish the Patriots had played better. We could talk about that later. Oh, my gosh.
That's right. Before we do the show, I usually like to, get familiar with our guests, little background, check out their Twitter and see what they're all about. And see, you're all about the numbers, man. I hate math. So where'd that come from?
Easily. Okay, so I wish I wrote down the date this happened, all right? Because it was in the year 2000. I'm going to say it was the year 2000. One day I read in the Boston Globe a salary cap number for Ted Johnson. Next day I read in the Boston Herald a different number, all right? I've always been good in math. I said, that doesn't make any sense. All right. So I decided to keep track of the Patriots salary cap by myself based on the reports back then. So back then, we didn't have Twitter. So we had like mailing lists, news groups, forums like KFFL forums. And that's how I just told people, Patriots fans, just let me know if you see any reporting about Patriots salary cap. Let me know, and I'll add it to my workbook. All right. Back in the day, way back in the day, the NFLPA would used to publish PDFs with documentation. All right. So they wouldn't say the player's name, but they would say a Patriots player had a linebacker that's with 6 years experience sign a deal. Well, there's only a couple of guys could fit that description, all right? So I would go back and figure it out. USA Today used to publish at the end of the year a salary database. So that let me double check the numbers, all right? And then as I got more and more known, then I get DMs from beat writers. And then now I'm like, what? I just went over 50,000 over 50,000 followers on Twitter. I get DMs from people everywhere. My numbers, hate to be bragging or whatever, but it's the truth. My numbers are the most out there. You can see if you go to the NFLPA public salary cap page. Once they get caught up in transactions, you'll see my number matches to their number, either to the dollar or off by a dollar, because we're different on the rounding. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, so I know the history. I know the Patriots salary cap on Bill Belichick. I know how they calculate the numbers. I can tell you these things. I can tell you what hasn't happened, what they have happened, what they haven't done, and stuff like that. It's been an interesting ride. I like to say it's a coincidence, no correlation, that they've had this success right after the fall in the cap. It's crazy. I've been lucky and blessed. Yeah,
absolutely. I think this industry is tough to crack, and it's interesting to see the different ways people do it. So the way you've done it is pretty unique and pretty cool. We're talking about the Pats, man, and we're pretty close to being kicked out of playoff contention. If if other teams were doing what they were supposed to do, I don't think we'd still mathematically be in it. What are we looking at, going on in the off season? Because I know I keep hearing, Patriots have a big cap space or something like that for the off season.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I have my numbers for the Patriots 2023 is lower than everybody else's because I keep track of stuff like the nerdy stuff. For example, Michael Onwenu, Duggar. In the CBA, if you're drafted in the 2nd through 7th round and you play enough snaps, you can reach a salary in the 4th year. All right, to what there's a low RFA tender. Onwenu's done that. Kyle Duggar's he's guaranteed to get that. Kyle Duggar needs to keep on playing over 60% of the snap the last 2 games to get it. All right. Once they do it, that increases their salary. I keep track of incentives, right? And I'm gonna just bring this up. Let's take a look at my numbers here. There are 6 Patriots. I'm presuming that Matthew Judon makes at least the 2nd team All-Pro, okay? Because that's worth $500,000 incentive for him, okay? I'm presuming that. Matthew Judon, Trent Brown, Dietrich Wise, Juwan Bentley, Jelani Tavai, and Lawrence Guy are on pace to earn playing time incentives in 2022 that would make them likely to be earned in 2023, all right? Adrian Phillips incentives kick in 2023, all right? 7 players, those incentives is a total of $9.15 million, all right? Those other sites like overthecap.com and the other site, I never mention their name for personal reasons, all right? I just basically, I think what they do by copying the data from over the site shouldn't be that's not cool with me. I just say the S site, and you can use whatever S word you want to say with it. All right. And then since I track of incentives, right, I can project what their Patriots adjusted cap number will be. All right. They're gonna have I have as a negative $4 million over the cap, and the S site don't even think about it. All right. So I have it 37 million. Those other 2 sites have it as 50. And that's because they have 43 players or 45 players in for 2023. Because every year, right after the team season's over, they sign the practice squad. That puts this happened for every. Why would I expect them to stop? And their practice squad is there. So that gives them 50 players. That makes that difference. All right. You got $37 million space before you make any move, cuts, trades, pay cuts, pensions, restructure. You're in a good shape. Okay. See, when most of the league is going to have less space than you. All right. So you're in good shape. Create other cap space. So good shape that way. As we were talking about the show, I don't think the problem with them is cap space, or maybe not the roster so much. I think it's a coach, okay? And that has nothing to do with what I do. Because that's really that the coaching salaries, when people ask me, doesn't count against the cap. So Barbara Calf, I think he's gonna have to spend more money to get a bigger staff. But that has how much he spent, I'll never know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count against the cap.
Right. Thanks for explaining that. One of the big things they were talking about why, going into the coaching, and we were talking about Matt Patricia earlier, and we gotta put in Joe Judge in there too. They're saying that Bill Belichick has those guys at their position because he doesn't actually have to pay them because they're still being paid by their former employers. Is that actually correct?
True. Coaching salaries are offset. So if you had a contract, Patricia had a contract saying with Matt, you'll get $5 million a year. All right. If the Patriots can now just pay him $100,000 a year, he's still going to get 4.9 from the Lions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So The Patriots, I don't know how much Patricia and Joe Judge are getting from their former teams. I will tell you, it's probably bare minimum. I don't think they're making any more. They might be making what an intern might make, all right? Because the Lions are picking up for the Patricia, the Lions are paying the most of them. I don't know if for Matt Patricia that's still going to be true in 2023. All right, we'll see. It's like I said, like my wife who doesn't watch football says he got to get fired, and I agree. I was like, I will have a hard time believing, and I hopefully the broadcast. This is a business, and there's more important as a business. I can't have it he gonna say into the fans would to keep Matt as an offensive coordinator. I just can't see that happening. I just on the field and product off the field, I just can't see it happening. All right. Yeah, I'd be betting on that. If I don't bet, I'd be not going to be offensive coordinator.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, with that said, you know, we can go ahead and get into the season, you know, and what's happening here.
Before we get into the season, I wanted to ask some questions about salary cap.
Go ahead.
Hi, Miguel. Thank you for coming into the show. A lot of people say salary cap don't matter because they can move the salary cap. They can move the player's salary all over the place. What's your say on that?
Hey, let's go back big picture wise. Football is a collision sport. All right. If teams could not move money around during the season, all right, they could not account for the injuries that happen. There has to be a mechanism because of how violent the sport is to be able to continue to have a roster. Remember in 2015 when the Patriots would play on the II each, all right, and then last year where some teams couldn't have, they were making moves during the season. The Patriots done it, the Bills done it, the Titans done it recently. If teams could not create cap space by converting salary into signing bonus, they couldn't replace their injuries. All right. So do I think I have always said the cap is a cap because you can make these moves to create cap space. The idea that it's crap is I'm biased, but I do as a hobby. All right. But I will say that's a crutch for the media members not to learn about the cap. Okay. Because literally the guy who's most famous for it was the guy who was a beat writer when I started doing it. I literally said to myself, so in 2000, I said, a guy who's not going to be in the locker room, and I live 2 hours away from Foxborough, said to himself, I could probably do a better job of covering the salary cap, guys who have inside sources. Within months, people in the pages beat writers than me, because they knew I was doing. I just noticed my work, so they saying that they noticed my work, which told me I was doing work than those guys. And who was the beat writer for the Herald? Michael Felger, who keeps on saying cap is crap. All right, and for me, the argument ends in 2000, ends with the COVID year, because the two sides who know the cap best, the owners and the players both agree to prop up the cap. Because if it wasn't going to be 182, if you follow their accounting the way it's supposed to have been, it'd be 182. It was good. They agreed to prop it up because they knew if the two sides knew if they had followed the rules, a lot of players would lose their jobs, and some of these players would be putting out a lousy product. All right. So when people, I'll say this: you follow me on Twitter, and you come and you say to me, "Crap," I automatically mute. There's nothing you can go forward in that I want to hear. You can listen to me, But you saying cap to crap is, to me, tells me there's nothing else going in the future that I need to hear from you. I got followers. I'm always getting elections. So I filter out. You say cap is crap, I just filter you out. Because I got too many questions to answer during the day. So let me just hear with people who I respect, or I think who acknowledge the fact that the two sides didn't agree the cap is crap. If the cap is crap, they wouldn't have propped it up. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it. I gotta admit, I'm biased. This is what I do. But I also don't say it. Like the media men, they're lazy about it. They're still lazy about it. That's why I feel. I was like, really, I know for a fact. I'll say this: if I was a Packers fan, all right, in the 2000s, Bob McGinn was covering the salary cap for them. I would never have done this. I would never done it because he was doing a great job of covering the salary cap. I've never done this. I saw there was an opening. I saw there was a niche. That's why I did it. Yes. Hopefully that answered your question.
No, that did. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just also had a salary cap question to ask you, Miguel. So I'm sure you heard about the new TV deal with NFL and YouTube. That's going to be starting next year in 2023. Now, how does that deal, with the NFL and YouTube affect the salary cap for next year and the future of the league?
It's gonna help the cap go up. All right. Usually by now we would have heard the first official projection for next year's cap number. All right. Mm-hmm. We didn't hear that because they were still working on the Sunday ticket deal. All right. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe it comes out during when we're recording the show that we soon hear the first official projections, and it will make that cap number go up. It will keep on exploding. Before COVID, the cap was going up around $10 million a year. I expected going forward to go from $15 to $20 million a year. When I think it's going to start happening, the big jump will be in 2024. All right. If this is and I'll say this, like those two sides, the owners and the NFPA, they do things for that number. All right. So you hear that people say, oh my God, the cap hasn't going up. The cap hasn't really going up. You know why? Because the player union has been asked more concerned about getting the benefits up. All right. So they have this program that's called Proven Performance Pay. All right. So where the lower salary guys get more money per snaps. All right. So that's why, the undrafted rookies, these guys benefit so much from that deal. All right. So when they just increase that pool, which helps out everyone who doesn't have a salary but plays snaps. Those guys so that offsets to me. I'll hear somebody see somebody in Twitter. Oh man, the owners took advantage of the players. Well, in terms of cap wise, yeah. In terms of benefit wise, maybe I think it's a good deal for them. So the Sunday ticket deal is going to increase the cap. I'll say this: it's not like whatever money it is. It's not going to be like an even amount of money. For some reason, whatever, it goes up. YouTube will pay him $500 million 1 year, $500 million, then goes up and goes up and goes up. It's not like $1 million a year, $1 billion a year, or $2.5 billion a year. It goes up and up and up and up for whatever reason. I don't know, but they will. I don't know what the number is. I think it's going to be higher than 225. My gut says that. I go back and forth. I'm waiting. I'm hoping that we hear a number with a range, and I'll just split the difference, go the halfway point. We'll see. But it's going to help. The cap is going to go up and continue to go up. And then hopefully, eventually, these players, they'll just increase people's salary. Because otherwise, we'll be doing this thing where they did at the end of the last several years where teams have kept on carrying over caps. And kept on, and being all this cap space getting up and not being used, which is that it doesn't really help the players if you increase the cap and it's not being used. And I should say that, like, if you're listening to me, you should know, if you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm for the players. I think they should get as much money as possible.
Agreed, absolutely.
So what you're saying is we're going to keep seeing $230 million contracts and up.
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, those deals are already bargains, all right? Back in the day, a $20 million wide receiver. Whoa! Now we get several of them. You know, like that. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see. Hopefully, one of these days, folks, there's gonna be a jump in the cornerback market. All right, we're gonna keep on seeing more and more. If you can get to the quarterback, boy, or you can catch a ball, you're gonna get paid, and you should not. Players go for the shorter deals, get the guaranteed money, keep on getting free agents as much as possible. With the 230, I'm going to say, let's say it gets to 230, it's going to go 250, 270. I'm saying $15 to $20 million each and every year going forward, and people will say, "Well, they never paid teams never paid this position this much." Just can't use what they did when the cap was $100 million and say they're not going to pay them when it's $230, $300 million. You got to adjust your money, adjust the percentage. Yeah, these guys are going to get paid.
Outside of the quarterback, what are the next two top positions?
Wide receiver to offensive tackle, and then pass rusher. Those guys get the money. Offensive tackle, good ones, elite ones. Hardly ever hit free agencies. Wide receivers, because there's so many of them, they get paid because they catch the ball. All right, and if you can get after the ball, you get after the quarterback, you can punish them. You're gonna get paid. Those are the 4 positions, and that's why, like, what the Eagles have done is somewhat brilliant, because they went after the offensive line, went after AJ Brown. And they're trying to get and then they're not paying a lot of pass rushers per se, but they got a good rotation.
Yeah. Can you talk to Bill Belichick as far as bringing in some nice receivers up in here and?
The Patriots follow me on Twitter. They don't. I've never seen. I don't think they take my advice. They don't take my advice. They can. See, this is, I wish, they gotta need, like, Jacoby is him. That's the funny thing is, with the wide receivers, it's like, there's no elite. Jacoby's one of the best free agent wide receivers, going to be one of the best free agent wide receivers. If you don't think Jacoby does your thing, you're not going to get much better than him, all right? So if you want, like, an elite wide receiver, you better hope that somebody wants to trade one. And I don't know who, and that means trading away probably your number 1 draft pick, your first round draft pick, which means you're gonna have a hard time getting an offensive tackle. And that's one thing about the cap is crap. There's you can't do everything. You can't buy your way, right? And the Rams are showing us it needs a little bit of luck to win the Super Bowl. All right. Last year they stayed healthy. This year they didn't stay healthy. They ain't got no chance. All right. I'm trying to think. Like my man, like Hopkins, right? He's got a no trade clause, and people say the Patriots won't. He controls where he goes. If he wants to play for Bill Belichick, he's gonna be here. I don't know him. I don't know the man personally. All right. And people say he won't play for Bill O'Brien because Bill O'Brien's supposed to be the. I know that I've heard that D-Hop wants to become a GM. All right. If I was him and I wanted to be a GM, the thing that would stick out the most on my resume is that, I understand it's a business. And I work with Bill O'Brien and I made the Patriots better. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Am I wrong? If you want to be a GM, right? You can't be taken personal. the NFL is a business, right? And you can't I never say the players deserve money. I just they get paid, but I don't say they deserve X amount of dollars, right? They gotta earn. For me, they gotta earn it. It's gonna be a fair deal. When I make my deal, project deals, I says, is this player gonna be worth it on the field? Do I think his play is gonna be worth it? All right. I'm not gonna give if I was gonna project a deal for Joe Cardona, who's a long snapper, I'm not gonna say you get $2 million a year, all right? Because that's not what long snappers get paid. Right. Okay. I mean, I want him to get as much money as possible, but that's not one long snapper in the league gets paid $2 million. All right. If I wanted to get D-Hop, all right, I'm not going to give him a 5-year deal with all 5 years guaranteed. Not at his age, because no one at his age gets 5 years fully guaranteed. You got to make that deal. It's a business. You got to treat it like a business. And players should do, players should treat it like a business. I think D-Hop, his deal was tremendous. I think he'll treat it as a business. And I think if he wants, I don't know, hopefully, I think if he wants to prove that he's a businessman and he's a professional, then you just walk. It's a business. Don't take
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, saying that. But other guys I would think about is, anyone from Denver, because they don't like Russell. Any wide receivers that you could pick, like Jerry Jeudy, none of those guys like Russell. But I don't know, are they that much better than Jerry Jeudy? A much better wide receiver than Jacoby?
I don't know.
Nah, I wouldn't say so.
See, because the cat, what Jacoby can do. Right now, you've seen what he could do for the last 4 years. You're hoping, remember, when you trade for a player or acquire a player from another team, you're hoping your evaluation of him is right. All right? You know what you got in Jacoby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's true, but the thing is, I know it might be worth taking that chance because we need some big play dynamic receivers. I think Jerry Jeudy would be a big play dynamic, receiver. At least can be a guy that could stretch the field and be able to, help you make, those big chunk plays downfield. I mean, Jacoby's more of just a slot possession guy that, he's good.
You're not game planning against Jacoby.
He's not going to get you anything after the catch, and he's not going to, get you anything, downfield. He doesn't run too many routes, and make too many plays downfield. But he's good in, the short yardage game in the short intermediate, area.
Yeah, you don't game plan against Jacoby. You know what I'm saying? People want a wide receiver that you game plan against because you get one of those, right? Even if you pay him $25 million a year, he makes the 5 wide receivers on the team that much better.
Mm-hmm.
He improves. It's like let's say you get a elite number wide receiver, and you sign Jacoby, and he goes and he's your number 2 instead of being number 1. Right? Then Thornton is your number 3 instead of your number 2. Parker's your number 4, number 3. So he improves that depth of the wide receiver position at all 5 spots or 5 or 6 spots. So that $25 million, when you think about that, how he improves the roster in all 6 spots, at all 6 wide receiver spots, that becomes, I think, a value. And I think that's one reason, people say, well, you can't afford it. I say I think you can't afford those things if you think about what it does for the rest of the roster.
Yeah. I mean, but thinking about the Patriots, and they do still have a chance to make the playoffs, and we're also thinking about draft here. Does this help us at all in terms of draft position or whatever to make the playoff, or would you rather, us not going in and securing something higher?
Oh my gosh, you got to ask that question. I'd rather have the young talent on this team play as many games as possible. That's all. And literally, so not making the playoffs versus making the playoffs was what, 2 or 3 spots?
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, the Patriots have a lot of draft picks. All right, already. if they can move up and they have enough drivers to move up and down in those 2-3 spots. I'd rather have, even if you say you think they're gonna get blown out in the playoff game, I still rather have them have the experience of being in the playoffs and learn and getting that hunger from getting your ass kicked in the playoffs. I think they'd be better off. If you disagree, I'm okay with that. I'm just opinion. It's like this is just opinion. These are not facts. All right. Especially if, let's say, Gerard Mayo leaves, right? Because if he leaves, the Patriots get another third-round pick from him, right? Compensatory pick from him. So that's even more draft capital for them. All right. So I'd rather have the guys play and move up and move around in the draft. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think I agree with that too. I don't think anything beats experience. So we have Miami coming up.
Without Tua.
Tua might not be there because this is the second concussion protocol. He's going in
third. Come on, let's be real. It's his third one.
You're right.
Wow, third.
Second.
Yeah, I thought it was 2.
No, but he really was. I think he was concussed the time they said he wasn't concussed.
Oh, we all know that he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was clear.
It's shame on the NFL.
Yeah.
Shame on the NFL for letting the boy play the second half.
Yeah.
With a concussion.
No, he had a back problem. That's what.
No, I mean, talk about last week's game. He supposedly got the concussion. It looked like he got the concussion in the first half.
Yeah. For sure.
And like
he played like crap the second half.
Yeah.
I wonder why he skunk up the joint and wet the bed. My goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
That explains it.
Exactly. And shame on like they blew it with Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
And then they blew it, what are these guys doing? Like literally, you got $1 billion industry, protect the players. Come on.
I don't really think they care. I think they're worried about their bottom line and putting product on the field. And
yeah, because literally it's the quality of the games that we're seeing has been awful this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know there's a lot of one-score games. All right, that's because there's very few great teams, and the quality is awful. Like so you ask about the playoffs. I'm saying it's like, yeah, put me in because you put me in the playoffs because there's three variables that no team can control: the weather, the officiating, and injuries. You get in, you get lucky with all those three things. Look your way, you can roll.
Right.
You can roll.
Go on a run, yeah.
Yeah. So like literally you have one bad call go your way, you know what I'm saying? One referee call go your way or the other team to get a bad injury, you can rock and roll. Like we're talking about the CB salary cap. Like this is why I hate the fact that they eventually go to 18 games. Because now it's not really the best team's going to win the Super Bowl. At the end, it's going to be the healthiest team. It's like clearly.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's good for the league to go to 18. I feel like 17's enough. I feel like 18's kind of.
Yeah, but 2000, the money. It's about the money. In 2030, you're gonna see it happen. It is.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Yeah,
I wouldn't like it, but I'm sure it will.
Yeah, and why are we gonna and if they're gonna do it, please add the extra game, not in January. Add the extra game in the beginning of the year when it's nice out. Why we have why we have the fans go out when it's miserable weather? Yeah. Come on.
So then have like 2 preseason games and 18 regular season games then.
Yeah, but I don't know what they're gonna do. But why do we have all these games in the bad weather? Like literally, and like let's go put everything in a dome. But even then, like in Buffalo, they can't even get out. It's like goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy. So we got Miami and Buffalo coming up, to finish the season here, and we're going in on a 2-game losing streak here. What are the chances you think we win these 2 games? And
okay, even with a healthy Tua, I thought the Patriots had a chance. I just don't. You're at home. I never thought that Tua was at the beginning of the season. All this MVP talk, whatever. I thought they could screw. I thought they could. Now that you think about what happened in the second half, and you think about the concussion, maybe it was, I got to think it's the concussion that caused them to throw all this. I was like, oh, they could scheme something up to beat the Dolphins. I just don't see if Buffalo needs to win the game for seeding how the Patriots are going to beat them. I just, being honest, Josh Allen is a unicorn. I know he has injury, elbow problems, but I just don't see them losing at home when they need to win. Like, I think he's a what's the word? Clutch. I think he's not. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna lose the game at home when you need to win that game. All right. Like, for example, Detroit, Carolina. If you're a Lions fan and you saw that game, that's the kind of game they always lost in the past. Okay, they needed to win that game to get rid of that. Like, get rid of that history of they had. I think that Buffalo, once you start winning, you bring up a winning culture, you're not going to lose that important game. The Patriots roster right now isn't as up to the talent level of the Bills, so I'd be surprised if they beat them. That's why the last two losses are killing me. Yeah. Killing me. Yeah. Goodness gracious. They should. Oh.
Yeah, they're killing all of us. All the Pats fans.
Yeah. Because they. Softly. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Miguel,
you cannot like. They played so. Against especially the Raiders game because they just dominated them, and then at the end, they go stupid.
Corrupt. They collapsed and played stupid.
Like honestly, is there any Patriots fan who didn't think after they went up and they weren't going to win the game? I thought they would definitely. I thought even after the Kyle Duggar thing at interception, they would have won the game. Okay, you go up. All right, you just hold them and you run out the clock. Game over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the truth. Miguel, it's been a real pleasure getting to talk to you, man, and hearing your expertise, especially about the cap numbers and things like that. I also know you're doing some stuff for Habitat for Humanity. You want to tell people what you're doing before we leave here.
Okay, I try to read. Like I said, I've been blessed, so I just try to help the next push it forward, do it forward. So I'm trying to raise money for them. I'm a son of immigrants. They believe in the American dream. I believe in the American dream. So I'm just trying to help somebody get into a new home. So if you can afford to do so, go to my pinned tweet on Twitter and donate some money to Habitat for Humanity. God bless. It's been a pleasure. Go Patriots. And let's folks, all you guys probably, some of you guys might not see what might have been around, remember them winning the 2001, 2002. So I've seen all 6 Super Bowls, all right? Yeah. You particularly don't look that old, all right?
I've seen all of them. I've seen all.
Okay, good. That's good. Because all you guys look younger than me, all right? Okay.
I was here for him.
Okay, so we got 6. We winning the Super Bowl is hard. We were lucky enough to win 6. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. I don't. So the chirping from the fans who never won, the Bill fans who never won one, or Jets fan who hasn't won one since 1969. God bless you. Or the Dolphins, whoever won one since the 70s. God bless you. I've seen 6, so please stop. We've been lucky, and God, it cracks me up. If you think that y'all winning a Super Bowl this year is going to make it my enjoyment of the last 20 years less, you're crazy. Okay.
Yes, sir. Well, again, Miguel, thank you so much, man. You're always welcome to come back on and talk.
Anytime.
And Happy New Year to you, man. Hopefully we have a better 2023 Patriots season.
Oh, yeah, we should. I mean, oh, my gosh. I'm an optimist. I have to think that way. God bless. I have to think that. I honestly have to. So that's who I am, an optimist. Yeah. I mean, I could see it happening. Like, my boy, you get lucky in the draft. One more great draft. Hit a couple of guys in free agency. Stay healthy. because like literally, I think it hurt that Mills wasn't around this year. Last couple of weeks. Oh, and Jalen Mills and Jack Jones. In a league, in a passing league, it does not help to have two of your top cornerbacks out. It doesn't help. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why, like roster-wise, why didn't have more guys who played in the secondary on the practice squad. That's kind of a strange thing for me. Yes, but that's really nerdy. I just realized that.
I agree. You have a good night, Miguel.
Good night. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you, Miguel. Thanks for coming on. Nice meeting you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
You too. Oh, there it is.
Yes, sir. So that was at Pat's Cap on Twitter, a.k.a. Miguel Benzan. Get the name right. The guy's doing a lot of work with the salary cap, work that I'm not doing or want to do, or even want to look at numbers. So make sure you give him a follow. Make sure you give us a follow as well. We're at ProFanSports on everything except for Instagram, and that's at ProFans_sports. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel, liking, comment, sharing the content. It's the best way you can support us. So until the next episode, man, happy holidays and happy New Year's to y'all. So next episode you see is going to be in 2023. So see y'all then.
Peace out. Have a good week. See y'all next year. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.